The road to the 2026 FIFA World Cup is already shaping up as one of the most dramatic and wide-open tournaments in history, with more nations than ever guaranteed a spot and many more still battling for the final berths. As of now, co-host nations automatically qualified. The United States, Canada, and Mexico are all in, setting the foundations of a continent-wide football festival across North America, where home crowd energy, stadium atmospheres, and fan fervor will be legendary. Across the continents, many other teams have locked in their places as well. From South America's tough qualifying league, nations such as Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Uruguay have clinched direct qualification by finishing among the top 6, a testament to their consistency across home and away battles in one of football's toughest qualification formats. Meanwhile, from Oceania, New Zealand secured the region's lone direct slot, emerging from its knockout competition as the representative for a region that often flies under the global radar. In Asia, the competition has been fierce and dramatic, with nations like Japan, South Korea, Iran, Australia, Uzbekistan, and Jordan among the confirmed qualifiers or strong qualifiers from the region, illustrating how Asia is diversifying its World Cup representation beyond the traditional powerhouses. Africa has delivered surprises as well. Teams like Morocco, Egypt, South Africa, Ivory Coast, Tunisia, Ghana, Algeria, and even newcomers or underdogs such as Cape Verde have punched their ticket to the big stage, making 2026 one of the most globally representative World Cups in history. Some teams enter 2026 with legacy, infrastructure, talent depth, and consistency, with Argentina and Brazil in South America remaining perennial heavyweights, whose defensive discipline, experienced attackers, and history of performing under pressure make them automatic contenders. European football giants like France, Germany, Spain, England, Portugal, and the Netherlands, all having secured qualification, will also be among the most scrutinized teams, bringing tactical sophistication, star players, roster depth, and experience. From Africa and Asia, Morocco and Tunisia could surprise, with Morocco's flair and recent progress, and Tunisia's often underrated resilience and tactical flexibility making them dangerous dark horses, while Japan, South Korea, and Australia bring speed, discipline, and a rising generation of players accustomed to high-pressure continental qualifying, which could translate into upset potential on the world stage. These favorites might end up spread across different pots in the upcoming draw, meaning tournament organizers, broadcasters, and fans around the world will likely tune in immediately when the draw is revealed to see which football titans get grouped together early and which get a relatively smooth path to the knockout rounds. What excites many fans about World Cup 2026, however, is not only the giants, but the underdogs who might shake up the tournament, including debutantes like Cape Verde, carrying the hopes of a small but passionate nation, offering the sort of underdog storyline that football lovers cherish, unknown to many but potentially dangerous, especially if they carry momentum and confidence. African sides like Ivory Coast, Ghana, Egypt, South Africa, and Algeria, often overlooked compared to European or South American powerhouses, bring physicality, unpredictability, and resilience, and on any given day, they can beat more established teams, especially if conditions such as weather, crowd support, or underestimation align in their favor. In Asia and Oceania, teams like Uzbekistan, Jordan, or New Zealand may not enter as favorites, but the 48-team expansion creates opportunities, fewer automatic eliminations in group stage, more matches, and greater chance for upsets. And their path may not be easy, but if they prepare strategically, they could produce surprise storylines. Understanding which teams have qualified and how qualification works helps examine likely seeding and potential group outcomes. In Europe, there are 16 spots, with 12 group winners qualifying directly and the remaining 4 decided through playoffs among runners-up and top Nations League performers, meaning a handful of historically strong or mid-tier European teams will fight into the last moment for final berths, making the European route one of the most nail-biting qualifying phases. From South America, the top 6 of 10 nations qualify directly, while the 7th-place side goes to interconferential playoffs, leaving hope for a final slot depending on results outside the continent. Oceania gets one direct slot for New Zealand and possibly one via intercontinental playoffs, while Asia, Africa, and CONCACAF spread their slots across multiple teams, which explains why we see a wide variety of nations already qualified.
The expansion to 48 teams means the group stage dynamics will be more unpredictable than ever. And instead of a rigid group of death system we saw in 32-team tournaments, there might be multiple moderately tough groups where underdogs have a realistic shot if they play to their potential, with smaller margins for error but greater opportunities for surprises, which adds huge cinematic potential for fans, narrators, and content creators. Speculative scenarios illustrate the drama. One group might contain Brazil, Morocco, Cape Verde, and New Zealand, combining established giants, rising African threats, debutant underdogs, and underestimated Oceania sides, while another group might feature Germany, Ivory Coast, Australia, and Jordan, pairing European tactical mastery with African robustness, Asian endurance, and Middle Eastern passion. Another potential group could include Argentina, Tunisia, South Korea, and Egypt, blending Latin flair with African grit and Asian discipline, where weather, travel, climate, and stadium locations could influence outcomes. The expanded format could also allow some third-place teams to advance, meaning underdogs who don't win their group still have hope, pushing teams to fight until the very end of the group stage, with no throwaway matches, making every game a dramatic story. Key variables to watch include squad depth and injuries, as more matches and varied environments like heat, humidity, altitude, and jet lag favor teams with deeper rosters and superior medical support, while smaller nations may need discipline, rest, and tactical savvy. Travel and climate will matter, as hosting across North America means long travels, time zone changes, and varying climates, giving advantage to teams with strong logistical support. Tactical flexibility and strategy will also define outcomes, as defensive solidity, counterattacks, set pieces, and the ability to handle pressure can allow underdogs or mid-tier teams to upset bigger nations. Fan and host country pressure and support add another variable, as co-hosting nations experience both boosts from home crowds and the weight of expectations, while diaspora communities across North America may create large fan bases for other nations, adding unpredictability. Surprise stories and breakout nations are also expected, as debutants like Cape Verde or underdogs from Africa, Asia, or Oceania may not go far, but a few wins, spirited performances, or dramatic draws can create legendary moments that live in football history. The expansion to 48 teams, geographic spread, and global representation make 2026 one of the most unpredictable World Cups ever, with more nationalities to support, more potential upsets, and more countries investing hope, while neutral viewers gain endless dramatic tension. The tournament will also create rich storytelling opportunities for content creators, pundits, and analysts, including highlights, underdog narratives, travel and fan reactions, first-time qualifier coverage, tactical breakdowns, and cultural mixes, while host cities themselves become microcosms of football history and global culture, with urban planning, public space revitalization, local business collaborations, open-air viewing arenas, and curated culinary experiences reflecting the heritage of participating nations. Technological innovations will further enhance the experience, including immersive broadcasting, augmented reality, AI-driven statistics, and multi-angle cinematic coverage, providing unprecedented insight into every match. The road to the knockout stage will depend on key moments, momentum, and sometimes pure chance, as underdogs can make history and giants can stumble under pressure, making each match a potential turning point. For fans, this World Cup represents 5 weeks of non-stop excitement, global celebration, and the potential for legendary performances. While for players, it's an opportunity to write their names into history and represent their countries on the world's biggest stage. Every aspect of this tournament, from qualification battles to travel logistics, stadium atmospheres, fan culture, tactical nuance, breakout performances, and global media coverage, contributes to a narrative that is bigger than football itself, offering stories of triumph, heartbreak, passion, and unity across continents, climates, and cultures. Speculative groupings, rising stars, dark horses, and historical giants combine to make 2026 not just a tournament, but an epic global sporting festival, promising a World Cup unlike any other, filled with surprises, drama, and unforgettable moments that will be remembered long after the final whistle blows in New York, New Jersey. It will be a World Cup of dreams, upsets, strategy, and stories, a tournament that brings together nations, fans, and cultures in a celebration of football that truly spans the world, creating lasting memories, legendary matches, and narratives that will define a generation of fans and players alike.